Hello, my name is Gray.
And my name is Crystal.
And this is Fascination Beauties, a supernatural commentary podcast where I, someone who has seen this show several times.
And I, someone who only knows the show through social media, discuss every single episode of Supernatural from start to finish. Also, we are both Asian.
Both Asian. For today's episode, we will be discussing season 3, like as a whole, our thoughts and etc. And our, I don't know, what we think about season 4 before we go in. Yeah.
Yep.
I think, like, it's pretty obvious from how we have taken in season 3, what we think of it. But let's start first with what we liked about season 3.
Oh.
So, it's sparse.
There are more women, and they're very mean to them, but sometimes they're on screen and Sam and Dean aren't saying anything.
Yeah. I think, for me, the highlight of the season really is Ruby. Like, she brought in a lot, like, as a character. But also, like, she brought on, like, for the show and for the brothers, the, like, you know, concept of, can we trust the demon? And, you know, like, future Supernatural, we just have a demon buddy. Like, we just have Crowley over there. He's just there.
Yeah.
How does Crowley die? Do you remember? Is it like the beginning of season 15?
He kills himself in, I think, 1223, right before Cass dies, to defeat Lucifer
Jack.
in the apocalypse world. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because Rowena outlives him.
Uh-huh.
A slave for us all.
Indeed. Oh, right. You really don't like Crowley. I forgot.
Yeah. You forgot. I really don't like Crowley. But I really don't. Yeah. Like, in the future Supernatural, like, we have a witch friend, we have a demon friend, but, like, here early on, it's such, like, a wild concept that, like, we have a demon friend that, like, even though they don't do, like, a lot with it,
Yeah.
it's still fun.
Yeah. It's fun to see them have allies. I feel like Ruby and Bella are both, like, morally ambiguous women who they still turn to for help because of their expertise in certain matters, but still screw them over sometimes, and that's a fun character type. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Since season 3 is a lot shorter than, you know, other seasons, we've talked a little bit about how the shortness of the season is kind of a detriment to it. Like, especially with, you know, wrapping up Bella's storyline.
Yeah.
That was, like, tough because it was so short and there was, like, they weren't given enough time to actually explore it. But did you think season 3, like, told a full story?
I mean, that man did get ripped apart by hellhounds.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about it the other day. Like, after we did our recording for the episode, and I was like, wow, he really, like, Lilith, like, it was an L in every way, in every single way.
Yeah.
Lilith found them. I don't know, Sam is all alone now. Dean is dead. Bobby didn't get any screen time.
Yeah.
Like, everybody loses.
And Ruby's gone, who was, like, their only ally who seemed to, like, know shit about the hell situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I guess Lilith didn't kill Sam. That was the only victory of the season.
Wasn't able to.
Yeah. But also, I feel like Lilith was... I mean, okay, Lilith was not introduced that late in that, like, we hear about the rival factions of Hell in 304 Sin City via Casey. But I do feel like I wish we'd had more Lilith sprinkled throughout the season, because I feel like all of that picks up way too fast, starting with Yusin Bello.
Yeah, I don't actually remember much about the plot of season 4 because I was paying attention to other things about like I think Lilith does get much more exposition and screen time and etc. in season 4. So perhaps they were like, well, we don't have much time this season. Let's just do it in season 4. And they did. So it's fine. How about Sam and Dean as characters? Like, what are our thoughts on their character arcs this season?
Well, okay, let's start with Sam. So,
yeah,
starting from Obel Part 2, he's just the worst guy in the entire world for no reason. By killing
No, there
Jake.
is a reason. There is a reason.
Just that Jake killed him, so he's, like, angry about it. Like, get over it.
No, like, not specifically for the Jake thing, but, like, overall for the entire season, he was, like, kind of, like, annoying.
He said it was because, like, Dean's gonna be gone, so he has to be Dean now, and that means being an asshole.
Yeah. I disagree. I disapprove.
Yeah. I guess, also Ruby also said that, though, and Ruby's never been wrong about anything, so maybe he is right? Who knows?
Yeah. I think, the thing about Sam this season is he goes through an arc of, like, he's very nice to people, and he, like, wants to save everyone, and wants to be nice to everyone, and then, you know, around season 4 is like, I will bleed this nurse to death, and then after that, he goes back to being like, our purpose is to save people, etc. first and foremost. And, like, we are in the middle of that arc, the second arc. We're in the middle of that one.
Right.
And it's interesting to see, because his motivations, I don't buy it that much, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel real enough. Like, do you think that's just, like, a switch that people can flip? Like, now I'm not gonna care about other people. You know?
I mean, he's had, like, little dialogues where he's like, yeah, I do feel like shit about all of this, but that's not a useful emotion, so I'm not going to think about it. So, like, I do think that people can be repressed enough to try to flip that switch.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, what do you think about Sam's arc right now?
I don't know. It's difficult to say given that he's not really the main character of any of these episodes.
Well, I think he's more main character this season than in season 2, which is shocking because season 2 was sold
supposed
as
to
the
be
Sam season.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So his main motivations are to try to save Dean and, like, being willing to do, like, whatever it takes and etc. and becoming more, like, cold and calculating or whatever, which sure, I guess that sort of happens. I don't know, he's a guy, he's there, he looks good.
Sometimes he doesn't. How about Dean's arc?
I
mean, he was like, I'm gonna die. I think
that's
whole
fine,
thing with Dean,
and then he goes, wait, I don't want to die.
and
that's
then he
his
dies
main arc.
anyway. Yes. I've been seeing this a lot on, like, social media.
Okay.
And I think it's really interesting. Like, people who are like, it's actually in bad faith to, like, make a character suddenly want to live and then kill them anyway.
Oh. Are
You've been
people
seeing this
turning to Dean Winchester for depression rep?
I don't know. But I've been seeing
I don't know about that one,
I don't think I mean I'm laughing, but like I'm willing to hear it out. But also I think sometimes a story needs to be tragic. And that's just the situation. I
Yeah.
think well he does come back to life, as we know.
Yeah. He's back. It's fine.
It's fine. But like
It's fine.
this is his turning point. This is when Dean turns from a guy who's kind of an asshole to like a guy who we see to become season 13 Dean. I feel like this is a massive, massive turning point. This is when everything goes to shit.
Because of the 40 years in hell, some of which he spent torturing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that can do something to a guy.
Yeah, 40 years. Damn. Well, tough luck. Sorry, Dean.
Yeah, sorry that the writers wanted, like, higher pay or more breaks or something, and therefore you were supposed to be saved in season 3, but then they had to push Sam's Demon Blood arc to the next season, and then you had to go to hell for 40 years. But have you considered that we got Cass out of it, so, like, get over it, Dean?
We literally got Cass out of it.
I mean, like, yeah, like, it does suck, but he's not a real guy, so I just can't be bothered to care that much.
I mean, we have to inherently care, because we are a supernatural
podcast, yes. Well, the thing is that Cass is a real guy, but Dean isn't, so...
Interesting. I'm not gonna debate you on this, because, surprise, they're both not real, but...
What? Wait, what do you mean?
I think this is the portion where we start talking about season 4.
Okay, yeah.
Man, I am genuinely like this is where Supernatural starts to pick up for me. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, but like, to me, seasons 1 to 3 is like the prequel of the show. And I believe that less now, actually, because I've been through seasons 1 to 3, and I actually quite enjoyed the ride, and it felt like, a real story. But, like, it's a prequel, dude. And, like, now, we're really in it, baby. And,
yes.
I don't know, not even just for the cast situation, which obviously I'm very excited about, but, like, season 4 Sam and Dean is the beginning of the Sam and Dean that I know. Like, I know these guys,
Yeah.
It's like, their backstory is over, they're established people now. Season 4 Dean, and the fact that he went to hell dictates how the rest of his characterization pans out. And for Sam, actually, I think it's about to start. Like, what happens to him in season 4 is what redirects his entire life into what it becomes. So,
yeah.
So shockingly, for me, maybe I'll change my mind when we actually do start to see Cass on screen. But like, for me, I find myself more excited for what will go down for Sam specifically. Oh my god, can you believe it? I've become the Sam fan of this show.
That's fun. I appreciate that. I mean, I do look forward to Sam's Demon Blood arc, especially because it involves Ruby. And
but
I do feel like in like Destiel fandom, like season 4 Sam is the only Sam that exists in their mind, and then he becomes nothing to them. So I feel like I know a lot about season 4 Sam that I don't know about other seasons Sam. So I am excited to see all the clips I've seen in every AMV, but I'm also more excited about learning about even later season Sam because I don't know him very well yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about how, like, Like, for us, season 4 is, like, the start of Supernatural, and it's where, like, all the angel storylines and all the, like, free will shit comes in. Like, that was not
Mm-hmm.
what the show was, so for people who were watching from the beginning and then started seeing season 4 when it was airing, it was probably like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
Like, this was
That's
their
true.
monster hunting show. And now it's still their monster hunting show, but it's also mostly about free will now. Which I don't think is a main theme of Supernatural seasons 1 to 3 at all.
Interesting. I don't think it's a main theme either. There are portions of it in the show. Like, you can feel that there's a vibe of it, but, like, it's not the main theme. Okay, this is an interesting question. What do you watch Supernatural for? For this podcast, number 1. But, like, for number 2, what's the reason? Like, what got you into Supernatural in the first place? What's the concept? Like, what's the thing?
I mean, it's just Cass. Like, I feel like
It's
I don't
literally
have a
just
deeper
Cass.
reason. It's just Cass. He's like a funky little guy. I like to see him.
Yeah, for me, I think it also is Cass, but, like, the reason why it has retained me for so long, I mean, it's obvious with the other media that I like, but, like, really is, like, the whole free will situation. Like, being under the control of other people and, like, forces that you cannot control, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is a very compelling kind of story to tell for me. So, like, in that manner, maybe that's why I think of season 1 to 3 as, like, the prequel of the show, because it doesn't have that essence of it yet.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I also watch Supernatural because it interests me social experiment-wise. Just the fact that it ran for 15 years, which is a lot longer than most shows, and you can see the way, like, television standards and stuff shift throughout the seasons, and also the way they reacted to having a fan base that they didn't want to have. So, like, I guess I enjoy Supernatural's, like, or I hope to enjoy Supernatural's future meta stuff. But yeah, it's just Cass and the social experiment aspect. I feel like I don't actively engage in the themes as much as you do.
Okay. Let's do the spreadsheets.
Alright. So,
Take the stage.
alright, so let's start with our misogyny, racism, and homophobia statistics. So, you know, this was a fun season for all of that. So we ended the season, we've got 16 episodes. We ended it with 19 total misogyny points, 12 total racism points, and 8 total homophobia points. Our most misogynistic episodes, with 3 points each, were Sin City and Malleus Maleficarum, which sounds right, I do remember those for misogyny. Our most racist episode was Fresh Blood, because Gordon gets killed. And our 2 most homophobic episodes at 2 points each are Bedtime Stories, featuring our favorite Dude Could You Get Any More Gay, and Ghost Facers, which makes sense. And
The
overall, our
Ghostfacers
worst...
one isn't even because of the content of the episode. It was just because Dee was homophobic, right?
Yeah, though I do think that the content of the episode probably was homophobic, but we thought it was too funny to give it points for that.
But damn, what's that? The Bedtime Stories really was something. Dude, you're
It's
so
true.
gay. You've read books. You've watched a movie. Damn. That's homosexual behavior.
Exactly. Real men forget the alphabet, and that's why I don't know what LGBT are.
Yeah.
And our worst episodes overall, if we add up all the points, are Malleus Maleficarum, which we gave 5 total points, 3 misogyny, 1 racism, and 1 homophobia. And Long Distance Call, which got 2 misogyny, 2 racism, and 1 homophobia. Now, if we break this down on a writer standpoint, so there are 5 writers who wrote more than 1 episode this season. Our most prolific writer is Sarah Gamble at 5 whole episodes.
Oh my god. I thought it was going to be Jeremy Carver.
He's had
the next
4,
one, right?
but yeah, Sarah Gamble wrote a lot of this season. On average, she had 1.4 misogynies, 0.8 racisms, and 0 homophobias. Thanks,
Wow.
Sarah Gamble, for one thing. Yeah, next most prolific, Jeremy Carver, who gave us 4 episodes, an average of 1.25 misogynies, half a racism, and 3/4 of a homophobia. Next we have
Love
Ben
this
Edlund.
ingredients list.
Yes. We have Ben Edlund, who wrote 3 episodes, and an average of 1 misogyny, 2/3 racisms, and 1 homophobia. And then we've got Eric Kripke, who wrote 2 episodes. He got 1.5 misogynies, the most misogynies on average of any writer. 1 racism per episode, which is also the most racisms out of any writer on average, and 0 homophobias. And finally, we have Catherine Humphries, who wrote 2 episodes as well, average of 1 misogyny, half a racism, and 1 homophobia, which is the highest homophobias of any writer, except on the same level as Ben Edlund, who also had an average of 1 homophobia per episode. And if we add up everything, our worst writer is Ben Edlund, who had 2 2/3 sins per episode. Thank you, Ben Edlund. Every time I see him winning the Supernatural writer polls, I get so upset. Anyway.
Because he's everyone's fave. Everyone
He
likes
is everyone's
him.
fave. Maybe he'll get better in the future. Does he?
Well, I mean, because, some episodes, you need the homophobia to cope. You need homophobia to make it better. I think it's the opinion of these writers. Some
So
people
true.
need misogyny to cope.
People do need misogyny to cope. So next spreadsheet, or last spreadsheet tab, is our IMDb tab.
Woo! I'm looking forward to this. I feel like I won this season.
Yeah, you won this season. You did win.
Of course. I mean, I've won every season, right?
Yeah, you have won every season. So this is your 3rd win. Your streak is unbroken.
Yeah.
So, the average IMDb score for this season was an 8.519. And on average, I was 0.331 points off, while you were on average 0.275 points off. So, you did win. Congratulations. You're a better IMDb guesser. However,
this is interesting, because,
Yes.
Supernatural is 8.4, right? On IMDb. Like, that's the
is it?
average.
Okay.
Yeah. So, this season is better than average? Is that what we're supposed to think? Or it's it doesn't work like that?
Maybe. I think that it's just that I think earlier seasons are just rated higher in general, probably.
Yeah. Because, I do wonder what season is the least highly rated. What's your guess? We'll figure out in 5-10 years or whatever. How long this takes. 10 years, hopefully not.
I'm guessing
You think season 15?
Well,
Because
I don't
they
know. I think
rated
that,
the last one so low?
yeah, I feel like people campaigned to try to get Carry On really, really low, right?
Yeah.
But
But,
I don't know, there are worse
Also,
seasons
season
out
15
there.
was just sucked. It just sucked. I don't even know why. It sucked. Season 14 was my favorite season of Supernatural. Like, I'm being for real when I say that. Like,
Yeah.
there was a point in time where I was like a season 14 defender. I would say that now that I'm rewatching the show from the beginning, I'm holding out on like saying what my favorite season is again. But like for a long time, I was like, season 14 is the most enjoyable season. I had so much fun, and it was because there's a lot of episodes there where like you laugh out loud because of how funny it is. And
that's
like
fun.
it's just that kind of like enjoyment, because like it's not like emotional. It's just like, bro, this is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love season 14 for that. But like season 15 sucked ass. Like you can't even tell me that it's because I don't like late stage Supernatural. Like it's literally it's just because season 15 sucked.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're sure it's not because Sam is balding so much while he looked good in season 14?
Well, he had a beard in season 14. Was that season 14 or 13?
Yeah,
I think it was 14.
season 14.
Yeah. Good for him.
Right. Comparatively, so it looks like season 1 had a pretty low IMDb average. It had an 8.382. I think it was brought down a lot by Bugs and also by Route 666.
Route 666, yeah.
Season 2 had 8.618, so it's higher than season 3 by about 0.1. So that is what it looks like so far.
Damn.
Yeah, so you may have won, but I do just want to mention that I guessed 5 episodes completely correct, whereas you only guessed 2 episodes completely correct.
I think what really dragged you down was
Ghostfacers.
Because I withheld information.
You sure did. Ghostfacers was my most off guess. I guessed 9. It was a 7.6, so I was 1.4 points off.
I guessed what there? 7.9?
You guessed 7.8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas your most off guess was for Red Sky at Morning, where you guessed an 8.7, and the true answer was an 8 because everyone was a hater.
Wait, which one was 9.2?
The 9.2 one, Bad Day at Black Rock.
It was also a Bella episode, right? Yeah, Bad Day at Black Rock. I always mistake those two for each other because it's like
same.
black, red, and a long title that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and they're both Bella episodes. But so if we break this down on a writer level, Eric Kripke has the highest IMDb average at an 8.85, followed by Sarah Gamble at an 8.62, followed by Jeremy Carver at an 8.5, followed by Ben Edlund at an 8.4, and followed by Catherine Humphreys at an 8.35. I feel like she's overall not done very well in the writer competitions. No, actually, in season 2, she was the second highest after Eric Kripke, so fall from grace for Catherine Humphreys, actually.
What was her episodes?
In season 2 or in season 3?
Tree.
In season 3, she wrote Bedtime Stories, and she co-wrote Dream a Little Dream of Me.
That's interesting. Those are not bad episodes. I mean, Dream a Little Dream of Me was quite something, but it wasn't like bad.
Bedtime Stories was pretty stupid.
Bedtime Stories? Oh, I thought you were talking about like the children one. No. You're right. She did not do well this season.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the child monsters.
Oh, no. That was The Kids Are Alright.
Yeah. Ben Edlund wrote Ghostfacers, right?
He did write Ghostfacers.
So, like, it's interesting to me that he didn't rank last. Well, I mean, he did write 3 more episodes after that.
Yeah, I think what really boosted his stats was that he wrote Bad Day at Black Rock.
Which people like. And I don't understand why they like it so much more than the other episodes. But, you know.
Yeah. Like, it was fun, but it's not, like, that much better than the other ones.
Yeah. I mean, we've learned since season 1 to not pay too much attention to
the IMDb's.
why people are rating. Ever since we reached Houses of the Holy.
Yes. We still have not gotten answers on that. We still don't know what happened there.
Yeah. Like, why? And I have
know.
no idea why.
I think I should go on archive.org and see when the shift happened. Like, I'm sure that it started out pretty high and then, like, one day it started going down.
You want to do it now?
Or do you want to do it while I read the director ratings?
Okay.
So, the 4 directors that directed more than one episode are Kim Manners, who directed 4 episodes. Phil Sagrisha, who directed 3. Robert Singer directed 3 episodes and also co-wrote an episode, Malleus Maleficarum. And Charles Beeson directed 2 episodes. So our highest rated director, Kim Manners, at an 8.875, followed by Phil Sagrisha at an 8.5. Robert Singer, I averaged out his directing and writing episodes, so he has an 8.4 there, and Charles Beeson, least popular, at an 8.3. So, once more, Eric Kripke and Kim Manners are winning the IMDb vote, even if that is not correct. Well, actually, I think last season Robert Singer won the IMDb director vote, so I guess at least he got 3rd place this time instead of 1st.
I think, Crystal, it's always been low. Because this one is from 2007.
Uh-huh.
And it was a 7.8.
What?
Let's see 2009.
But
People
why?
hate this. Why? For context, this is like House of the Holy.
Yeah.
We're back to
We're just still mad
House of the Holy is we're still upset about it. It was an 8.0 by like 2009. It stayed that way. Let's see 2015. It was always low. Like this one 8.1 in like 2015. Let's see 2019. It stayed that way. It was like it's always been around 7.8 to 8.1 and it's never. Why?
I don't.
This is so wild to me.
I don't know. Is it like, I guess people never really liked the Angels storylines?
Tough luck.
I'm reading an IGN review of Houses of the Holy that was posted in 2009. So, one thing is that they said that it follows Night Shifter, which everyone likes so much for some reason, so it feels like a letdown after Night Shifter. I don't get it. I don't know why.
Night Shifter being the episode with
his
the
best friend who he just let go, and Sam in a bank vault. I mean, pretty iconic episode in Babpod history, originating 2 of our bits, but those were both bad things.
Yeah.
Let's see. It says that it's too obvious where the story is leading.
Boo. I mean, that's the point. It's obvious, but Sam doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because he wants to believe in something else.
He does.
Come on, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
If true.
Let me see if there are
unfortunate.
any other reviews that are, like, from the time.
This has ceased being about season 3 and season 4. And that's okay. We're here to open up old wounds from season 2.
Yeah, I just really don't. There's not any episodes that are like, there's not any reviews that are like, this episode sucks so much that it deserves one of the lowest IMDb ratings of season 2. Like, they're all just like, this was pretty good, or this was okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
No idea why.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's it for our first part of the episode. Next we'll have our Q&A. So
Thank you for all of your questions that you definitely submitted. We're recording this before we've gotten any questions.
yeah, this is like the day that we announced the Q&A. We're recording this, but yeah, I mean, yeah, bye.
We'll see you.
I mean, not bye. No,
You'll hear from
we'll
us in 2 seconds.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're here for the Q&A.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for your questions.
Thank you for your questions. We got quite a bit. So, let's start. Why don't you do the first category?
Okay, well, we just have, like, a comment that is not a question from Anonymous that says, "This isn't a question, I'm just hyped for Cass." 3 exclamation mark emojis, the flexing emoji, the 100 emoji, and the angel emoji. And, like, you're so fucking right, Anon. Thank you. We are also so hyped for Cass.
When that was sent to us, like, my first reaction was, OMG, Cass is literally the angel emoji for real. I was, like, so happy to see the angel emoji for some reason. But it literally is Cass for real, though. He would use that emoji.
That literally is Cass for real.
So, the first question category is just a couple of fast questions. Quick questions.
On season 3, yeah.
Yeah. So, Hell's Favorite asks, favorite Bella moment?
When Dean goes, "You're not gonna shoot," and then she shoots Sam in the shoulder.
For me, I suppose it's in the same scene. It comes right after. When Dean throws the rabbit's foot and then she catches it and she makes a face where she's like, "Oh, fuck my life." Because, like, so real, girl. And also, like,
yeah,
it's such a fun thing to do in terms of, like, playing with the instincts, you know? Like, you instinctually catch it and Dean is like, "I figured it out. I'll just mess with her in a way that she can't think." Because, like, she's obviously so smart that she won't do anything stupid willingly.
Yeah.
So let's, like, play with her instincts. I think that's a fun thing to do. Yeah.
I agree. And I like when Bella's a bit of a loser girl, because, like, she's 24. She is young, and sometimes she is a loser girl, and that makes her cool girl moments better.
Exactly.
So my ex-fiance Danica asks, favorite Dean death in Mystery Spot.
Interesting.
Okay, obviously the car hit is, like, iconic. But I'm gonna go with when Sam accidentally kills him.
That is also my
with
answer.
The hatchet.
Like, because they play it off as so comedic. And it's like, this is so traumatic for everyone involved, especially Sam.
This is like a season arc, and they have it as an off-screen joke.
Yeah, it's funny. Although, to not copy you, I would say that my second one is the piano. The "Who wants Chinese?" and then a piano falls over his head. So much fun. So fun. He literally is a cartoon character.
It's really good. Yeah.
And it's just like the whole deal where they, like, foreshadow it in a way with the focus on the piano. Like, it like, I don't think you can figure out first try, like, what they're trying to do, but, like, it makes perfect sense, and the payoff is so funny. So, good for them.
Good for them.
So, the next question is also from Danica. So, most memorable IMDb review.
Somebody just escaped my brain after we read them. I think the only one I can think of right now is the person who was like, "I figured it all out. Bella and Ruby are working together to make Sam evil, and also he's gonna kill Dean after Mystery Spot."
I mean, I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to, like...
It is a pretty reasonable thing to think.
Yeah. I mean, why do the whole deal with Mystery Spot if it's not gonna end in, you know, murder?
Yeah.
Fun times. You know what? For me, it's a recent one, so it's a bit of a cheat. But I really like the ones where they give it 5/10 without explaining any reason why. And the review is actually like on the more positive side, and it's still 5/10.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Supernatural.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. So the next one is by Hell's Favorite again, and it's what was your favorite case of the season?
I think
I'm gonna look up a list.
I think you're gonna agree with me about this in some way, but for me, it's either Long Distance Call, the case there, or The Kids Are Alright.
Yeah, those are also my first
I think
instincts.
We already said it earlier, not this, episode, but like way back, we said it that like, oh, these two are like super fun in this season. Yeah. And like, especially The Kids Are Alright, because like creepy. It was truly so creepy though. Like, while reading this question, I thought about it, and like I remembered the like drowning the kid in the lake, and then she goes back home, and the kid is home. Like, that's insane shit.
Yes, that was
good. The psychological factor that plays into it of like, am I crazy? Am I making this up because of the grief that I'm experiencing? Like, that can be a whole movie in and of itself. It's very good.
Yeah, I agree. Also, a lot of season 3 is not cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd say the only cases are like those two, Sin City, Bedtime Stories.
Bedtime Stories, yeah.
The
Truly
pirate
a
ship,
case, yeah.
And then, okay, I guess Supernatural Christmas, but then like, yeah, okay, and also like Dream a Little Dream of Me is a case technically, but then I feel like everything else is just plotty stuff. Yeah, I guess the Ghostfacers case is like
a case.
I know that some people consider it quite good in that like they found it actually creepy in an episode that manages to be very comedic. So I guess I will give it that, but I think I did not find it creepy enough to give it that many points.
The benefit I will give Ghostfacers is that after that episode, I started listening to "It's My Party" and
it's good,
and it's so much fun to listen to, and it literally is my
would
party.
Cry too if it happened to you.
Exactly. I think season 3 is such a transition episode, such a transition season. Sam went on testosterone, but like it's very much season 1 and 2 is a cluster, and then season 4 and 5 is a cluster, and season 3 feels like it's an in between those two.
Yeah.
Especially vibes wise. Like, I'm talking like visuals wise, right? Like the coloring was different this season. And also like the whole like cases are lesser, and then the plot is more plotty, but also like the characters themselves. For Dean, we start to see that hopelessness, and then that gets fully realized in season 4 onwards. And for Sam, we start to see this like cold-blooded nature that we start seeing furthermore in season 4 onwards. So it really is like, it's like the end of the prequel, which I keep calling season 1 to 3, but it really is though. It really is, you guys. It really is though. Yeah. Should we spoil that we already watched the first
Last Rising, and
Last
that
Rise.
We're gonna be recording it right after this?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah. So we already watched Last Rise, and truly, everything before this, child's play.
Nothing. Dust.
Child's play. Yeah. So our next question is, Danica, again, our biggest fan. What is the most iconic episode of the season? Mystery Spot, obviously. right?
Okay, that is totally true, but I just didn't even think of that. I was thinking Bad Day at Black Rock because
Of
I feel like
Bella.
it has the most scenes that I've seen. Gift. Yeah, Bella is iconic. I'm so glad we get to meet her then. And also, obviously, Sam losing his shoe
Oh
is
yeah.
considered such a moment.
Yeah. Mystery Spot is for me the most iconic one. Like I know a lot. I think maybe we read an IMDb review of this vein where it's like this is the first episode that I show people when I want to get them into Supernatural, which I think is a mistake because you're like setting
Yeah.
them up for disappointment. But
Yes.
if it works, it works.
Yeah, those poor people. I hope no one actually started the show because of Mystery Spot. So next is from my friend Sam, who has never listened to this podcast or watched Supernatural.
But decided to send in questions anyway. Thank you, Sam.
She asks, what do you feel is the most boring episode with nothing remarkable going on? And what is the most overwhelming episode with, like, a lot to unpack?
This is interesting for me. I don't think we have an episode this season where I went, oh my god, recording this is gonna be a nightmare because, like, it's gonna be so long. Like, the recording's gonna be so long because we're just gonna talk on and on and on.
Yeah, I'm pulling up our episode lengths right now to help answer this question.
No, but we did encounter that problem several times in season 2 and 1. Where we went like, okay, how are we gonna tackle this? Like, before recording, we go, how are we gonna tackle this? Because we can't just talk for 3 hours. We need to limit this shit. And, like, if you listen to our season 2 episode 1 episode, that was back when we were still like, we shouldn't do 2-hour long episodes. That's too much.
Yeah.
Because we were still doing twice a week. If you listen to that episode, the cuts are insane. Like, we don't explain anything towards the end of the episode because I was like, we gotta cut it off. The original cut of that episode was 3 hours long. And I think,
Yeah.
like, with season 3, we really didn't have that, you know? We didn't have we should hold ourselves back. Because nothing was, like, particularly overwhelming. I think the closest to it was Mystery Spot, where we talked about how we're gonna talk about it. Because, you know, the repeats are like, how are we gonna do that? But that's it, really. How about you? Did you feel overwhelmed about a particular episode? Or do you feel the same?
Well, it looks like our longest episode was for a long distance call. But honestly, that's probably just because of Soda.
We talked about Soda for so long. Let me pull up our list of episodes, actually.
And our shortest one this season
It's
is
the
for Bedtime
Hendrickson.
Stories.
I thought it was Hendrickson.
No, it's actually Bedtime Stories. By 3 minutes, which I was gonna say as the most boring episode.
That is the most boring episode, yeah.
The case
Nothing
is
happens.
quite nothing, and I don't remember any character moments being there.
Yeah, other than,
I
calling Sam gay.
Yeah, that is a very important character moment. So that's, like, the most boring episode. I don't know if Long Distance Call has the most going on. I feel like there's a lot to unpack in Fresh Blood about, like, Supernatural's general, like, moral stances on things, as there is in the whole Gordon arc, but I think that requires sort of you to watch a lot of seasons of Supernatural and then come back to Fresh Blood, so I feel like we didn't do too much of that during our actual recording.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Mystery Spot, I think, like, Sam's revenge arc is something that there's a lot to unpack there that we didn't really do because it was just too funny when a piano fell on Dean.
I think an episode that we should have done better on is the last Hendrickson episode.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, Yusin Bello.
Houston Bellow.
Yeah, but
which
it also is just a very action-y episode. Like, I don't know if there's too much character analysis I can think of doing in it.
Yeah. No, but like, we could have talked about the Henriksen, which we did discuss prior. Like, how are we gonna talk about Henriksen? And then we just didn't do it.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Well, he's gonna come back as a ghost and tell Dean how much being in hell sucks or something, right?
I don't remember this.
Did I make this up? Is he never coming back as a ghost? Are we actually done?
I think we're done.
I feel like I saw a post about supernatural racism that was like, and then Henriksen comes back
That's
to
Kevin,
say how tortured
right?
and miserable he is.
That's Kevin.
Like it also happened to Henriksen, does it not?
That doesn't happen to Henriksen. It happens to Kevin. And then he goes, I love you guys, as he passes to the ether or whatever.
Oh my god, wait, so we're actually never gonna see Henriksen again?
Wait,
I was like, man, it sucks that he died, but at least we're gonna see him as a ghost being so miserable. Do we actually never see him again?
Let's look this shit up.
Wait, I feel I want to be surprised if he comes back as a ghost. You look it up for yourself.
Oh my god. He shows up. You're right.
Oh, okay. Well, we can talk about him then. Watch us promise this now and then not talk about him at all.
For real. I'm so sorry, Henriksen.
Sorry, Henriksen.
Okay, so our next category is hypotheticals. So there's one hypothetical specifically that we received a lot of questions from Maud Moon, from Hell's Favorite, and from
from
an
anonymous.
Yeah, where basically that question is, if Bella didn't die in this season or came back in season 4 or other seasons, what do you imagine her role would be? This is interesting to me because I think her dying this season is all right. I don't feel like, oh, she shouldn't have died, they should have saved her. I think actually it's in character for the Winchesters to be like this. And I feel like the better thing to do is to bring her back. Not make her die, because it serves a point in the story having her die if we're looking at it from the perspective of this is a Sam and Dean story. Because before Dean, somebody else died, so oh, okay, Dean is also dying for real. It cements that better.
Yeah.
For her individually, for her as a character, I think her dying, sometimes you need to die to be better. That's what I feel. No, I'm just kidding. But I think that can be something that can easily be explored in future episodes. Because the guilt in a way of killing her parents, even though it was justified, but the guilt coming from a place of I had to suffer for it anyway. So what was the point? I think that could have been interesting. Stuff like that. What are your thoughts on Bella dying?
I feel like from a writer's perspective, Bella's role in season 3 is some plot armor to provide them with case solving stuff, and also as a Dean foil / Dean mirror, in terms of his deal with hell and also his relationship with his family and general moral attitudes towards things. So I feel it makes sense that she died. I mean, I guess they also could have, if they figured out some way to save her, to give them false hope that Dean could be saved, that could also work for her character in season 3.
Interesting.
So I don't think she had to die, but I think that it also does make sense for her to die. Um, yeah, or, I mean, if the cult trade just worked, also, right? Like, maybe trading, like, her freedom for the cult would have just worked. And then, like, yeah, I don't
Oh.
know. Like, they would be like, how do we figure out a trade to get Dean out of his deal? Or, like, that means we could have traded the cult to get Dean out of his deal, but because Bella stole it, like, she's the one who got the benefit. Which, I mean, I feel like would just end with more of them being mean to her, though.
Coming back. Let's talk about Bella coming back. I just
Yes.
had this like visual thought about like you know how Eileen comes back for Sam, but like it's Bella and you're like hi Sam, and it's Bella
Yeah.
Sam Bella Endgame, which I think is such a funny thought. Like imagine picking someone from like way back in season 3 to be like, and this is Sam's Endgame. Supernatural would do it.
Yeah, Supernatural would.
I'm glad they picked Eileen instead.
Oh, are we choosing to believe that Eileen was Blurry Wife? Or
I mean, okay.
or are
let's
we
not-
ignoring Blurry Wife?
The ending of Supernatural is not real to me. Like, I hate to be a denier because I am a firm believer that, like, you have to accept Supernatural for what it is. Supernatural is like your daughter who is, you know, kind of a fuck up, but
A
you have to love her
Republican.
anyway. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, wait. So when you say Bella coming back the way Eileen did, do you mean that, like, she doesn't come back as a demon, she comes back as a ghost?
I think that would be interesting. I think her coming back as a ghost would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be super cool if she was, you know, a spirit. And then since she knows so much about how spirits work, just like find her own way back to her, like back to life. Like I think that would be super, super, super cool. And
Yeah.
but the demon thing, I've seen a lot of that around, like on posts and shit. Like, what if Bella came back as a demon?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
You
interesting.
make a good point about her connection to spirits. Like, she's talked to so many ghosts with her Ouija board. Do you think she's, like, friends with any of them? Would they, like,
Oh my god,
hang
are they
out
gonna
as
hang
ghosts?
out at Costco? Like, for real.
Yeah,
Why is my
yeah,
first
I
thought
think-
hanging out at Costco? I've never been. Is it like a membership shopping place? Am I right?
It is a membership shopping place,
Okay.
but what you do is that you stand near the door until an Asian family walks by and you walk in with them. And then the person at the door just assumes you're in a group.
Real.
Yeah, I mean, hanging out at Costco I haven't done with anyone except, I guess, my sister, but it is a fun place to be. It's so big.
So big.
But, oh, right, wait, why did you ask about the membership thing if, like, ghosts that wouldn't be an issue for ghosts? It's not like they would stop Bella at the door.
They'd put salt at the door, so like only people with cards and living spirits can enter.
Real. Yeah, so, okay, Bella coming back as a demon, I think, is interesting in the way that, like, if, like, she's trying to, like, continue to be a Dean foil or Dean mirror, like, this is what would have happened if Cass didn't save you from hell, like, because you were already torturing people.
Yeah,
Like, you would have become like her. But I feel like that requires her as a demon to be somewhat 2D, which I'm not too interested in. I feel like... Okay, Bella and Ruby were in the same season in season 3, but, like, they were never in the same episode because I feel like they decided that they were maybe, like, too similar.
Separate. Yeah.
Yeah, So, I don't know if season 4 has room for, like, another snarky demon. Like, besides Ruby. I don't, like, Sam gets his demon and Dean gets his. I have no clue. So, I feel like I'm more interested in her coming back in, like, maybe seasons after season 4, the way that Meg comes back after they kill Ruby, you know? As, like, I don't know what kind of a figure I would want her to be, though. Like, I enjoy the idea of her, like, just coming back to get revenge, but I feel like the only way for her to last longer than, like, 2 episodes is for her to, like, end up being an ally figure anyway, which, like, being an antagonistic ally figure was already her role in season 3, so I don't really know where they would go with that. I think the world where Bella doesn't die in season 3 is interesting in that, like, I don't, like, if Sam and Dean helped her not die, like, maybe this is the road to, like, her actually being their friend with no strings attached. And in
Are you
that
talking
case,
like she's gonna become a hunter-esque?
I don't think she's gonna become a hunter, but I think that
She's gonna be like their Crowley.
yeah, sure, like, yeah, someone that they sometimes call on for
She's gonna
help.
be their
And
Rowena. Oh my god.
yeah. Oh, true. Yeah. It is sad that we can only think of ways that she can, like, help Sam and Dean, though, because it's the Sam and Dean show.
I would love to see Rowena and Bella meet. Like, I feel like they would get along. Do you think they would? Maybe maybe Bella's too British for Rowena, but you know,
Maybe.
I think,
I'd like to think they'd get along.
yeah, yeah.
I guess also thinking about a future for Bella, it's more like what does she like about her job and what does she want out of life?
Yeah, because, like, prior to this, she was, thinking short term. But,
Yeah, exactly. Like, she only had 10 years, so she was like, I'm gonna, like, get rich and live luxuriously, and I'm going to, like, solve everything by myself and not depend on other people because I don't have too long to live anyway, and also, like, being independent is the only thing that's saved my life so far. But, like, if she comes back as, like, a demon or, like, just doesn't die, she has, like, either eternity or, like, dozens of more years to live. And it's like, does she still want to do her job? I think she likes her job, but I'm not sure what she likes about her job.
yeah,
Like, and she
the
also
money.
has enough money to retire if she wants.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Or do, like, anything else. And I feel like I don't know enough about what she likes or what she wants to know what she would do. But I think the story of, like, you thought you were only gonna live until you were 24 and now you're facing down eternity and you don't know what you want anymore is, like, interesting. And if she was a main character of Supernatural, like, would have enjoyed to see it. Okay, so our next question, Danica asks, do you think it would be more narratively interesting if Gordon or Bella came back to life in season 4? So,
Well, we just talked about
okay.
the Bella stuff.
Yeah.
So,
The thing is, like, what, Gordon's going to fucking purgatory. Right?
do you think it would be interesting if, like, Dean meets him in purgatory?
Oh, like in season 8. The thing is, like, huh.
I think,
like, not unless they, like, decide that he went through a lot of character development in purgatory.
yeah.
Because I think, or else it's just gonna be Dean kills that guy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a repeat lang. It's just gonna be a repeat of what we already saw. The thing is, I don't really know how they're gonna do Gordon's character if he is to come back. What I see, like, really, if we're gonna talk about it, like, it's really Bella or Hendrickson that's, like, have a lot of promise. I feel, in terms of, like, bringing them back. But Gordon,
Yeah.
he's gonna need a lot of character development, and it's not gonna be on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm more interested in the idea of him just not dying in fresh blood and, like, somehow him being turned into a vampire, like, shaking up his worldview enough that, like, he, like, goes off by himself and, like, I don't know, meditates or some shit.
Yeah. Like,
or,
that
like,
was the
joins
opportunity.
Lenore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the opportunity for a change of heart.
Mm-hmm.
But they passed
they
that
not.
by. Yeah, they didn't do it. So, I don't think that's particularly gonna be interesting. Okay, so our next question is, again, from Danica. So, do you think the season would have been better if there wasn't a writer's strike? And in a similar vein, do you think you would have preferred Kripke's original ending for this arc? AKA Sam agreeing to be king of hell or whatever.
Yes, it would have been better if there were more episodes for Bella's arc.
Yes, I
but
agree.
I also like that they had to make Sam's Demon Blood arc, like, all of season 4 instead of, like, the last half of season 3.
Yeah.
Like, that is a full season arc to me.
Yeah. I think this season would have been better if there was just, like, 2 more episodes. But, like, I'm not thinking of a full season length. Still.
Yeah.
Like, I think they wrote an okay story for what they have. And, like, 2 more episodes would have been okay. But, like, again, I like to think of Supernatural as a child who I love no matter what. Like, not love. Accept. Those are different things. I accept no matter what. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
yes.
I accept Supernatural for who she is and what she is and all that shit. So, like, I think longer season, yes, but same arc. Same everything. Like, it ends the same.
Yeah, that man should definitely get torn to shreds. Okay, Sam becoming King of Hell, I don't really know how Kripke wanted to pull that off. It is, like, conceptually interesting to me. But I don't know what they would do in the next season.
It's gonna be a very different story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, our next category are fun questions. So, we got a couple of Kiss, Marry, Kill, Fuck, Marry, Kills. One is from Aaron. So, Kiss, Marry, Kill. Crowley, Rowena, and Meg. I'm gonna kill Crowley. Obviously. I'm a hater. True and true.
Yeah. That man is dying. Okay, the other two, I know there's an obvious answer, but I think I could fix Meg. I think I could marry and fix Meg.
You can marry her and fix her? Good for you. You know what? Since you're marrying her, I'm gonna marry Rowena. Because, obviously, for me. I feel like we could be a power couple. I could be one of her, like, demonic henchmen.
Oh, like one of the guys who, like, makes a human chair for her or whatever they do.
Like, I could be her booty-shorted man in hell. I literally could be
be one of her boy toys.
I can wear booty shorts that say boy toy in the back. I'll do it for her.
I don't know Rowena as well as you know Rowena. I feel like she's one of those characters who is very iconic, but I actually don't know much about her personality. So it's possible that after I meet her, I'll change my mind. But yeah, I believe that I could fix Meg.
There's no need to fix Rowena. Rowena's fine.
Yeah.
I love her for who she is.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably will also.
Yeah.
Our next Fuck, Marry, Kill is from Hell's Favorite, and the options are Rufus, Ed Ghostfacers, and Casey from Sin City. I think this one's obvious, right? Kill Ed, marry Rufus, and fuck the girl demon from Sin City.
Yeah. I mean, girl demon, I think her name's Casey.
Yeah, her name's Casey.
Wow, I remember that. Look at us. Look at me. But like,
good job.
Casey, I'd give her a little peck on the cheek. And I'll say, good luck, buddy.
Yeah.
And
right.
I'll kill Ed.
She's
obviously.
got her thing with the priest going on,
yeah.
apparently.
She has a
like came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. They're fleabagging it out of the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I would say I'll marry Rufus, but I do not expect it to be a particularly good marriage. I feel like he's so mad about the things that have happened in his past. Rightfully so. But I am young and I want to explore the world. Maybe I should marry the girl demon in Sin City, and I could be her priest boyfriend, and we could explore the world together.
That's a good point. I guess, I mean, I'm fine with being, like, married but somewhat separated from Rufus. We can hang out on the weekends.
Real.
But yeah, you're right that currently he's living in a state of social isolation born out of, like, general fear from hunting, so it would maybe be difficult, but, like, I don't. Maybe we could Manic Pixie Dream Girl him.
Yeah.
Maybe being young and wanting to explore all parts of life will bring, like, charm back into his life. Who knows?
Who knows? Our next question is again from Hell's Favorite. So, Dean gets a dog in the finale, as we know. But some fans think he should have gotten a cat. He's way more of a cat person, and I'll die on that hill. He doesn't even like dogs. Good for you, Hell's Favorite. What pet would you guys give Dean? I agree with you.
Being anti-dog. Like, he was torn to shreds by hellhounds.
He literally was torn to shreds. And I've seen people say...
he should have trauma about that, yeah.
I've seen people say, or maybe I didn't see people say this, I just made it up in my head and then got angry about it. That it's like, it's a symbolism of him breaking free from, like, the trauma of his past. I think I just made that up to be mad at. But, like, I do not agree. I think it's stupid. And I don't think he likes dogs at all. But, like, who knows? He likes dogs in Dog Dean Afternoon.
Dog Dean Afternoon!
My
so
favorite.
True.
My favorite episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Cats, well, okay, at least the one thing we know about Dean is that he would not be an outdoor cat person, which is good.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, oh my god, you're leaving me just like everyone else leaves me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be about the safety of the birds in his neighborhood. It would just be about him still being mad that Sam went to college.
Yeah.
So, at least he would not be one of those people who let the cats out. I don't know if he's more of a cat person. I think, okay, we talked about this briefly before the recording, and Gray, you said that the first step of Dean getting a pet is to get out of the bunker first.
Okay, for sure though, yeah.
Yeah.
Get him out of that bunker.
Yeah. Those animals need some amount of natural light. And then I referenced a fic idea that you had that you never wrote about Cass trying to take care of a tomato plant in the bunker and then it dying and him having a breakdown. Yeah. And, like, yeah, that is whatever would happen to any pet in the bunker.
Yeah.
I don't know what animals Dean would like. I think, well, Cass has mentioned wanting a cat and a hamster, so I think that he should get either of those things for the sake, or not a hamster, a guinea pig.
I quite like the idea of Dean. Because, like, if we think about it, it's like the car is his pet, you know?
The car is his girlfriend.
Ugh. I mean, sure, whatever.
Maybe. But sure, yes, the car is his pet.
But, like, the car is his pet. But, like, I like to think that maybe Dean would benefit from like, okay, here's the thing. The dog thing, maybe not a big dog. Maybe that's gonna be my thing. Like, not a big dog. So, like, a tiny dog. A Shih Tzu. Or, like, I don't know. A scared Chihuahua that he needs to be gentle with. Like, I quite like the idea of Dean having a pet that he can't be rough with, or like he can't read the way you read humans.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like in a character development point of view, that would be pretty good for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to be able to look at an animal and admit to himself that, like, I don't know what's going on in this thing's mind, and I'm gonna try to figure it out instead of, I know what you want. Because, like, dogs are super expressive, and, like, they're the baseline kind of pet, right? Like, if you look online how to blah 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 dogs, like, you'll get answers immediately. But, like, with a pet that's a little bit more obscure, he'll have to put in more effort to understand and take care of said pet. And I think that would be good for him.
Yeah. I agree. So our next question is from Danica again. And she asks, if you were Lucifer's spoiled little princess, how would you rest and relax?
I tried to put myself in the mindset of evil for this question.
Yeah.
And I literally can't. Like, I feel so bad. What am I gonna do? Kill people? Kill animals? That's so sad.
I mean, you wouldn't have to. You could just mess with them.
I think I would terrorize a billionaire.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Why not? Yeah. Just one. I mean, maybe all of them, but
I'd possess Misha Collins and make him come out as straight again.
No. God.
Yeah, this is an incredibly boring answer. I'm sure there are way more fun ways to take advantage of being a demon, but all I can think of is, like, possessing random celebrities and having them say whack shit, so
I think,
this question is not for boring people.
If I was Lucifer's spoiled little princess and I'm going on a vacation, I'll just go on a regular-ass vacation, except I don't have to pay for anything. Like, that would be my only thing that I'd do.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Oh my god, we have a question for me from Maud Moon that's quite unrelated to Supernatural, but I'm so happy somebody asked. So, this next question is just for Gray. Who's your favorite Ace Attorney character from the original trilogy series? And they mentioned that they're saying original trilogy because they already know that I like Shilong Lang, who is from Ace Attorney Investigations 1 and 2, Prosecutor's Path. Yes! That's my promo for the day. I would say original trilogy. I haven't played the original trilogy in like 10 years or something stupid. Like, it's been so long. But if we're talking mainline, so like original trilogy plus the 3 other mainline games after that, it's Clavier Gavin. Crystal, do you know this person?
You've sent me various images of him while, like, lusting.
Oh, no! I was not lusting. I think I was making fun of his
action? What does he say?
Achtung. Or, yeah. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Achtung. Achtung, baby. It's like attention in German. Yeah. He's my favorite. He's my fave. And I just like it when men are attractive and have a thing. Like, Shilong Lang is like a werewolf wannabe. And, Clavier is a rock star. Like, I like it when they have things going on for them. And that's not really much of a thing in mainline original trilogy yet. Although when I was young, I really liked Francisca. that kind of faded over time. I guess, like, when you grow old, the characters that you end up liking also grow in age. Do you find that true for you? Like, I mean, obviously, when you're a kid,
Probably.
you look up to people who are closer to your age, right?
That's true. Yeah.
And then, like, Francisca, I think, was, like, 17 when her first game, or 18 or something. And I had such a massive crush on her. Like, so big. I, like, was in love with her. And I was like, she has a whip, and she whips people, and people are like, oh, that's abusive, physical violence is bad. And I was out there defending her, like, can't women do anything? Like, I literally was fighting for my fucking life defending her. I was so right, though. And she was my favorite in the original trilogy. Maybe I should replay it so I can answer this question better. But,
Just to answer this question, yeah.
Just to answer this question, among other things.
Okay, so we have a question from Hell's Favorite, which is very sweet. And it's, me and my girlfriend met through Supernatural fandom, and we live together. Our second anniversary is coming up, and I have no idea what to do for it. What should I give my girlfriend for her anniversary?
Yeah. This is the question that we talk the most about. And up until now, we still don't know what to say. What I said was related to a question that I answered in the previous Q&A, where I said that I like my Supernatural Dean Winchester ring because it's my dad's ring. And, like, I wear it on the finger. Dean wears his mom's ring. So it's, like, a supernatural thing, but also a family thing. So, like, I think doing something that's, like, related to your common interest, which is supernatural, but also, like, coming from a personal place would be very nice. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could not think of anything.
Oh my god, I just thought of an excellent one.
Okay.
Because they said what to do. So this is not like a gift, but like something to do, right? Why don't you go on a road trip? If you're like, I don't know, if you're from the United States, that would be fun, right? A supernatural thing. You go on a road trip.
Driving a car is such a good supernatural reference, you guys.
Maybe get a Chevy and, like, driving around in my 67 Chevy or something. However that song goes.
Oh, yeah, the one about Dean Winchester. Yeah.
The one about... the Night Moves song. You don't know your baby lore.
Sorry, I do not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I do agree that experiences can be more fun than items, in which case, I don't know, like, I feel like concert tickets are, like, kind of basic, though. I don't know what one gets a girlfriend of 2 years.
Yeah, never been in that situation, unfortunately.
Nor I, so, yeah. Okay, I think, a gift that I really liked was my ex-fiance, like, for one of my birthdays, she got me, like, a planner, but in it she had, like, written, like on each day of the calendar where, like, we had, like, a fun conversation or something, she, like, wrote it down, like, so it was like a look back at, like, the last few years that we had together as friends, and it had a lot of sentimental value. So, like,
that is adorable.
I don't know, like, I guess something like that could also be fun, but you have to Venmo Danica $200 first.
For the idea.
But, yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. Also, like, if you had, like, specific things that coincided with, like, maybe supernatural episodes, like, oh, like, this episode aired on this day, and, like, there's, like, this specific memory that I have, or this specific thing that I like about you that's, like, related to the episode. You could write it on the day that episode aired.
Yeah. You could do the stack natural, but, like, romantic. Not like watch Supernatural, but like, you know, the
God.
the journal thing. Yeah. I semi-related, but like I gave someone a gift once where I folded like I think like 100 origami stars and put them in a jar, and like every star, if you pop it open and unfold it, is like a memory that we have together, or like a message that I have for you, or a song recommendation or whatever. And like my best friend still has that jar in her room, and she still opens them when she's upset, which is like super cute, right?
Oh, that is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's nice. I don't know how to connect it to Supernatural though, so unfortunate.
Fold all the stars out of printed photos of Cassia.
You just open it and it's just a picture of Cass.
It's just Cass.
Yeah, it's to cheer you up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, for our last question. So, last season we had an anon who asked us about like what we're looking forward to, and we didn't know how to interpret it, so they clarified it. And like basically what they're asking is, what are you looking forward to in general in Supernatural, not just like per season, but like in general. So
and this is the Anon who warned us that season 3 would suck, and I do think about that message often.
They were so right, like so real. Well, obviously look forward to Cass, but he's here, baby. He's here.
Yeah.
And other than that, I think I'm really looking forward to a lot of the levity that future Supernatural has. I like it when TV shows are funny. Yeah. And that's really, really weird considering that I hate sitcoms. I truly do. But I like it when shows are funny. So, you know, I want Supernatural to be funny.
I'm looking forward to Jack. I'm looking forward to Mary coming back eventually, and like whatever like myth shattering is gonna happen there. And I also feel like I know like Dean and Cass's plot lines for later seasons, but not so much Sam's. So just meeting late season Sam, I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Usually at the end of each season wrap up, we try to rate each, like we try to order the seasons like based off of quality, right? Like last time we said season 2 is worse than season 1.
Season 3 is below everything.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember exactly how I felt about season 2.
Well, like, we didn't feel like too good about season 2.
Yeah, but I feel like I did not like season 2.
The thing about season 2 is it started off strong and then it slowly wavered to like a fizzle. But like season 3 started out bad and ended up okay, but like still bad. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking about it a bit more, and I think I agree with you. I think that so far season 1's the best, followed by season 2, followed by season 3. Okay, so that's it for this episode of Busty Asian Beauties. Next week we will be discussing season 4, episode 1, Lazarus Rising. Yes. Leave us a rating or review wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media. We are on Twitter at twitter.com/beautiespodcast and on Tumblr at bustyasianbeautiespod.tumblr.com. Our official tag is BABPOD, BABPOD. Thank you to everyone who's donated to our Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/bustyasianbeautiespod. And check out our Redbubble merch at babpod.redbubble.com. You can leave us any feedback, comments, or inquiries at our email, bustyasianbeautiespod@gmail.com. See you guys next time. Bye! Bye!